Hey you guys, I just made a long video that's going to be up on LostArtsRadio.com and on all the platforms that we're on that won't kick us off. But I said some unacceptable things, so I'm trying to give you a couple of clues in what's in it. I'm freezing myself to death right now because I came out here, and when I was climbing up in the mountains, I was keeping myself warm, but I'm not moving now, and there's a really frozen wind blowing. So it's going to be really short. Just giving you a little bit of a hint of what the longer video is about, which you can go see. Look at the link below or go to the other platforms. Go to LostArtsRadio.com/live and you'll see where it's posted. But basically what it's about is saying that there are all these problems happening in the world right now. We're on the brink of a potential war with Russia, instigated by NATO and the US on purpose, trying to force Russia to do something to get rid of the threatening military installations right on their border, similar to the Cuban Missile Crisis in the early 60s with John Kennedy, where John Kennedy threatened to attack the bases in Cuba if they didn't remove them, and the Soviet Union removed it, avoiding a big war at that time. But this time, NATO's not backing down, and the leaders in the US are apparently going into bunkers, and that's what they do when they get ready for nuclear wars. It's not a really good sign, and so that needs to be turned around. So there's that happening, because Russia's going ahead and attacking those military installations and the missile bases and things right on their border. It's closer than Cuba was to the US. So, you know, you can't blame them for doing that. If they were putting missile facilities on the northern border of Mexico, I think the US would not tolerate that at all. Our criminal media is misrepresenting it completely, including social media. Anyway, we got that going on. We got planned inflation in the US, hyperinflation, which is a predictable product of shutting down production as a supposed COVID response and printing way too much money. That destroys the value of the money, with the idea that it's going to lead to a global digital currency, which can be turned off if you don't obey everything they tell you to do in your life. It's a horrible thing to do. And that's being done through the central banks, such as Federal Reserve. You got the bioweapon that's being injected into people, and the critical race theory being taught in schools, so that we should hate each other because of the color of these costumes we're wearing, physical bodies that are not us. I talked about that in the longer video, and the fact that we're not our costume, and we're not mind. We're whatever you want to call it. The word doesn't matter, but we're spirit, we're consciousness, and it's unlimited. And that's the biggest fear of the global rulers, is that we may discover that again. And not in a religion, not in a belief system, not memorize some new stuff that you're supposed to think. That doesn't do it. It's got to be a reconnection on the experiential level. And that's what we started Planetary Healing Club for. And I wanted to just invite you before I freeze to death here. PlanetaryHealingClub.com. And no matter where in the world you are, if you're ready to work on yourself, to reconnect to who you actually are and transform your life experience, join us there. They're small dues, but if you don't like it, I'll just give it back to you the first month. And so it's not a risk to you. It's a little bit of money that goes to our nonprofit to keep us going. But the point of it is transformation of life experience. And when you do that inside yourself, that gives us the capability we need to have the effect that's needed on the outside world. That's the whole idea. And I hope you can relate to that. If you're one of the people, it's like, I estimate 1 out of 100,000 or so in the general public that can relate to what I just said, you're invited. And it's work, but it's work inside yourself, not with anybody else pushing you. It's opening up things that have been dormant for a long time. And we need to do that like really soon. Starting right now would be good, because the bad guys that are in control of the world intend our extermination. And we need to stop the suffering and turn it around. And you have the possibility to do that. You have the potential power to do that. And all I want is to see you get it and to see all of us be okay. That's my whole motive. Really simple. And my faith is in you. I know what you really are. And we laugh at the people, walking around like zombies doing crazy things, and where it would be a much better use of our time to look at ourselves and say, how am I being a zombie? How am I not living up to who I really am? Physically, getting your health back, learning again about the natural health principles that are violently suppressed in our country and most of the world, to get away from this stupid degeneration and aging and falling apart and sickness all the time that is not necessary or normal. Learning how to do that, and then learning how to change your consciousness in terms of the emotional state and the mental state you carry around. They're very powerful. They radiate out and they affect everybody else. And if that becomes focused, talking fast because I got to get going, I'm freezing to death. If that becomes focused, then you can have an effect on the world that is what the bad guys fear. And it's funny that they fear it, because you could become strong enough to rescue them. We don't have to kill them or destroy them or anything else. We can actually rescue them out of the programming, because they're not really who they think they are either. This is a dream world, and it's like a video game, and everybody thinks they are the character they're playing. You're not. You're something incredible. And a belief won't do it. You got to shake free of the hypnosis that you are the character you're playing. And we could all do that. You could be the one to start it. So that's my message. Looking at all these different problems, the Ukraine deal, the Canadian situation, the planned hyperinflation to kill the value of the money, the open border where, illegal people just flood in, threatening the integrity of any country. You can't have that if you're going to have a country remaining. All these separate problems, and there's a lot of them, instigated racism to try to make us fight each other, which is so stupid. I mean, any condemnation or looking down at people because of the color of their costume that they're wearing is not a sign of intelligence. But they're all coming from the same place, and the potential remedy that you're carrying all comes from one place, and that's inside you. It's not a belief. It's something you can really do. So that's about it. I'll try to make more of these videos instead of just once in a while. I promise to do that. And stay in touch with us at lostartsradio.com, and where we're on the air at lostartsradio.com/live. If you can help support our commercial-free broadcasts, please do. We have a donate button at lostartsradio.com, and also a subscribe star link at lostartsradio.com. They're easy to find near the top of the page. And otherwise, help us share links, and consider joining us if you're one of those few people that can relate to what I'm talking about and are brave enough to actually try to do this work, and more than try, succeed at it, carry it through soon. Okay, so we can turn it around. I understand how all these sub-agendas fit together and where the rulers are intending to take us, and we don't want to go there. So join us if you want to, okay, or do it yourself or whatever, but shake out of your own programming. Instead of focusing on everybody else, break your own and become who you are. That's the message. Please take care of yourself. Please become who you're destined to be, because it's something great, and it's not to go out and kill or destroy everybody else. It's to wake them up. That's a sign of much more consciousness than just being able to fight indefinitely. We need to break the program now. Okay? That's my invitation. I hope you would take me up on it. And thanks for listening. I'll try to get out here again soon and talk to you in a little while. Thank you. Talk to you in a while.